we're going to make quiche today. It's a rainy day and quiche is a great meal to have when it's chilly outside. Plus, it helps you clean all the stuff out of the refrigerator. So what are we going to put in our quiche? We're going to put onion in it. We have some onion left over. We have some bell pepper left over. We have some celery. We have some broccoli slaw that I like to use. And we're going to put some mushrooms in it. We didn't have any fresh mushrooms and didn't want to go to the store. So we've reconstituted some dried mushrooms here. These are wild mushrooms, but you can use any kind that you like. We've got some leftover cheeses. This is smoked Gouda. This is Swiss cheese. And this is a little bit of feta. We've got eggs from the chickens of various sizes. We'll use 6 eggs. In the eggs, we'll put some ground nutmeg and some fresh thyme that we cut from the garden, but you can use dried thyme if you want. Salt and pepper, a little bit of cream to make it taste rich, and then nutmeg also adds to that. We'll have a little meat in here too. So we've got some leftover sausage from when we made sausage. That's homemade sausage. And we've got some bacon crumbles. The quiche crust will be some, this is a Safeway brand, ready-made pie crust. Pillsbury makes them too. They both pretty much taste the same to me. And so that makes it real easy. And then we'll cook the vegetables in olive oil and butter, and we'll season them with a little bit of Emeril's Original. You can use any kind of spices you like. Okay, so we're sauteing the vegetables right now for the quiche. You want to make enough vegetables to cover the inside of the pie plate. So I don't know if that's 2 or 3 cups, about that. If you aren't using all these different vegetables like we are, if you're using spinach, then 1 package of frozen spinach is going to be enough, drained of course. So we already put in the celery. Celery takes a little longer to cook. We have it on about medium. So now we're going to add the chopped reconstituted mushrooms minus the liquid, which we've saved on the side for some other cooking effort. And the onions and the chopped bell peppers are going in, along with the leftover broccoli coleslaw, which has got also some carrots and some red cabbage in it. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, we'll go ahead and put in a little bit of this other broccoli coleslaw as well. So that ought to do it. And that's going to be it for the veggies. Next step will be to grate the cheese and mix up the eggs. Alrighty, so we have the vegetables cooking away. Can you get a picture of them? I used the lid on to help keep them warm and keep the moisture in, but they're pretty much ready, so I've just turned the stove down to low and they'll sit here and stay warm till we're ready to assemble the quiche. Actually, we can just turn it off. Also, I forgot to say earlier that we preheated the oven and we put some salt and pepper in with the vegetables. We have the sausage chopped up and the bacon that we're going to put in there. I have these separate from the vegetables because I want to make sure I spread it around evenly. The smoked Gouda we grated with the fine grater, and now we're grating up the Swiss cheese, which we're grating on the larger side. And so that'll be done in just a second, and we'll crack up the eggs. Okay, so we're going to do the crust now. We've let it set out and it's room temperature. That's really important. Don't try to use a frozen one or a refrigerated one because you won't be able to work with it. So it's really super easy. Just unroll it into the pie plate. Try to get it as centered as you can. And then we're going to do a nice little decorative touch on the crust. So before we do that, we've got to prep it by folding this over so we have a nice smooth edge to work with. So I'm just going to show you this in one part of it. You don't need to see me do the whole thing. It would be repetitious. So use your thumb and forefinger, and then your forefinger on your other hand, and just push them together, and it'll make a nice fluted edge for our quiche. Okay, so now we're going to do the eggs. I've cracked 6 eggs into this bowl. You can get away with 5 if they're large eggs, and you put in like maybe a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of flour. We have lots of eggs from our chickens though, so we'll just use lots of eggs. This is thyme from the garden, so we're going to get that in there. Just pull it right off the stem. I like a lot of thyme. If you don't have fresh thyme, you can use powdered thyme. And I would say about a teaspoon of it is the amount that you'd need. So that takes care of the thyme. I'm putting some nutmeg in, about 1/4 of a teaspoon, some heavy cream. Make sure your eggs are room temperature and check them, make sure that you don't have any shells in them. Then a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. You can use dried or fresh ground, and then you're going to whisk them. Don't stir them, it'll make them tough. You got to whisk them. Okay, so we'll do this for a couple of minutes, make sure it's all whipped up really good. Okay, now we're going to assemble the quiche. So we take the veggies and put those in first. Like I said, you want to make sure you cover the bottom of the pan, the pie tin. And we didn't have to grease the pan that we're cooking this in when we put the crust in. It comes out fine without any pre-prep on the pie plate. So we got that there. Then we're going to put in the meat. So spread the bacon around. Make sure that there's going to be a little bit of bacon in every bite or every slice out of the quiche. Then we will put in the sausage. Also, we want to make sure we get sausage in each slice of quiche. And there we go, that's how you do it. Then we pour in the eggs. And we'll put the cheese on top of that. And if I didn't say it before, the oven has been preheated at 350 degrees, and we're going to cook the quiche for 35 to 50 minutes, depending on what your altitude is. We're at close to 3,000 feet here, so it takes a little bit longer to cook than it did when I was at sea level, and so probably 40 minutes. I don't know, if you're higher, maybe a little bit more, but start checking it after 35 minutes, wherever you are. And so, if I could only use one cheese and not mix them like I can do here, I would use Swiss cheese in my quiche. And so we got that. Try to get that as even as possible. Now some little smoked Gouda on top. Oh, this is going to be so good. I think that'll make a nice crispy surface too. And let's get it all the way to the edge. And we have a little bit of feta just to make it interesting. And that ought to do it. This is sheep milk feta from Israel, and it's the richest feta I have ever had. But you know what they say about feta? Everything's better with feta. Okay, now we're going to put it in the oven. Just got to open it up. Nice and warm in there. Put it close to the middle of the oven. This is a little bit lower, but close to the middle, not all the way on the bottom. And then we'll set the timer for, let's say, 35 minutes. And that's when we'll start checking it. Okay, here's the final product. In the end, it took 45 minutes for it to cook. And as you can see, it's nicely browned on the top. There's a little bit of fat there from all the cheese we used, but it'll soak in, and it's going to be delicious.